In the heart of a lush, vibrant forest, where sunlight danced through the towering trees and wildflowers painted the ground with splashes of color, lived a mother bear named Clara and her 3 rambunctious cubs, Hazel, Finn, and Leo. This forest was their sanctuary, filled with the melodies of chirping birds and the rustling leaves that whispered secrets of nature. Each day brought a new adventure for this playful family, who reveled in the freedom their home provided. Clara was a gentle yet protective mother, instinctively aware of her cubs' boundless energy. With a thick coat of glossy brown fur that gleamed in the sun, she moved gracefully among the trees, guiding her cubs as they explored every nook and cranny of the forest. The cubs were curious and spirited, often tumbling over each other as they chased butterflies or climbed low-hanging branches. Their laughter echoed through the woods, a sound that mingled beautifully with nature's symphony. As morning light filtered through the leaves, casting dappled patterns on the ground, Clara led her little ones toward a small stream nearby. The water sparkled as it flowed over smooth stones, creating an inviting oasis for play. Hazel was the first to dash towards it, splashing noisily as she dipped her paw into the cool water. Finn followed suit, attempting to leap over his sister but landing squarely in the stream with a big splash. Leo watched from the bank, his bright eyes wide with excitement before he joined his siblings in their watery escapades. Careful now, Clara called out gently, her voice laced with warmth and amusement. She stood watch at the edge of the stream, enjoying their antics while keeping an eye out for any signs of danger. Despite their playful spirit, Clara never let her guard down. She knew that even in this beautiful setting, wild animals could pose unexpected challenges. After a delightful morning filled with laughter and splashes, Clara led her cubs back towards their den, a cozy nook nestled beneath an ancient oak tree. The entrance was partially concealed by a curtain of ferns and ivy, creating a perfect hideaway for them. As they settled inside for a midday rest, Clara curled around her cubs protectively while they dozed off one by one. The peace was palpable in their little world. However, outside their den lay an unexpected turn of events that would soon change everything. A few yards away from their cozy home was a small clearing where curious sounds began to emerge, an unusual cooing that seemed to pierce through the forest's tranquility. Intrigued by these unfamiliar sounds, Clara stirred from her nap and crept cautiously out of the den with her cubs trailing behind her like tiny shadows. As they approached the clearing, they saw something that neither Clara nor her cubs had ever encountered before: a human baby sitting amid patches of soft grass and wildflowers. The child had wandered away from somewhere unknown and looked up wide-eyed at Clara and her fluffy companions. The sight was both bewildering and heartwarming. There lay this tiny being with chubby cheeks and bright eyes that sparkled like stars above them. The baby gurgled happily upon seeing them but remained seated on what appeared to be an oversized blanket adorned with playful patterns. The bear family paused in their tracks. What should have been instinctual fear transformed into sheer curiosity as Clara carefully assessed this peculiar situation. Hazel took a tentative step forward while Finn leaned against his mother's side nervously. Leo's eyes widened with amazement at this new creature that seemed so different yet somehow familiar in its innocence. It wasn't long before Clara decided to approach more closely, a decision fueled by maternal instincts rather than fear. What on earth is this? Clara thought as she sniffed cautiously at the edge of the blanket. The baby cooed again softly as if beckoning them closer. It was a moment unlike any other. Two worlds collided within that clearing, the wild essence of nature meeting pure innocence embodied by this little human. The gentle sun cast warm rays around them as time seemed to stand still, a magical bond slowly starting to form amidst uncertainty and wonderment. What began as an ordinary day in their woodland home subtly transformed into a moment brimming with possibilities as Clara sensed this encounter would lead them into uncharted territories filled with emotional depth beyond what they could comprehend at that moment. As curiosity sparked between them, the bear family inching closer to this delicate human, the stage was set for an extraordinary tale destined to tug at heartstrings and inspire awe at nature's wonders intertwined with humanity. As Clara and her curious cubs approached the clearing, the forest seemed to hold its breath, the chatter of birds pausing as if intrigued by the unfolding scene. The sun filtered softly through the leaves, casting golden light upon the unexpected sight that lay before them. A small human baby nestled in a patch of grass, surrounded by wildflowers. For an instant, time stood still, the air was thick with uncertainty and budding curiosity. The baby, blissfully unaware of the stirring creatures nearby, gurgled and cooed, its bright eyes sparkling like dew-kissed leaves. Clara hesitated for a moment, her instincts urging caution even as maternal curiosity pulled her closer. She had seen many wonders in her lifetime, the arc of a rainbow after a rainstorm, the first bloom of spring, but never had she encountered a creature so different yet so resonant with innocence. Hazel, ever the bold one, took a few daring steps forward. "What is that?" she whispered to Finn and Leo, stealing glances at her mother to gauge how close they might venture. Finn huddled against Clara's side, peering out from behind her sturdy legs, his heart racing with both fear and excitement. Meanwhile, Leo stood his ground at a safe distance, eyes wide and filled with wonder as he observed this little bundle. Clara stepped forth cautiously, keeping her movements slow and deliberate. As she drew nearer to the baby, she could feel her heart pounding in rhythm with each soft coo that came from the child. "It's so tiny," Clara thought, marveling at this creature that seemed entirely out of place in her forest realm yet somehow evoked an inexplicable sense of connection. Every instinct told her to be wary. Human beings were unpredictable and often posed dangers to wildlife, but there was something inherently trusting about the way this baby looked up at her with wide blue eyes that sparkled with joy rather than fear. It made Clara pause and consider. They were all creatures of nature seeking solace in their own ways. As they continued to observe from a careful distance, Clara began to notice faint remnants of distress on the baby's face, a sense of bewilderment mixed with uncertainty. The enchantment that enveloped the moment quickly dissolved into concern. Where did this child come from? Was it lost? Had it wandered away from its family? "Should we approach?" whispered Hazel anxiously, sensing the tension brewing among them. "We must be cautious," Clara replied gently, reminding them of their natural instincts. With her heart torn between protecting her cubs and exploring this unusual circumstance, she stepped forward once more. The baby reached out tiny arms in their direction as if beckoning for companionship or perhaps comfort from the unknown surrounding it. "Look," Leo said softly, "it's not afraid." There was a sweetness in the baby's eyes that felt disarming, sparking an internal debate within Clara about how to handle this unexpected guest. The clearing was alive now, vibrating with an electric energy as nature itself seemed to join their quiet congregation. A light breeze rustled the leaves above them, squirrels paused mid-chirp while butterflies flitted by as if drawn to this unusual gathering around the helpless infant. Clara pondered deeply. Should they approach closer? Was there something they could do? The protective instincts driving safety clashed against their growing curiosity, an innate urge connecting them across species lines that spoke volumes about shared empathy and understanding. Slowly but surely, Clara took another step closer until finally she knelt down beside the blanket covering the little one's surroundings. Her presence radiated warmth. Each beat of her motherly heart sent a silent message to both her cubs and the perplexed child that everything would be all right. In that moment, between curious bear family and innocent baby, the air filled with potential. They shared unspoken communication that transcended words. As Clara sniffed delicately at the edges of the blanket, the smell was an unfamiliar blend tinged with sweetness, a reminder that despite their differences, life thrived everywhere. The connection birthed within that clearing was undeniable. Beneath trees soaring high into the sky and cradled by wildflowers blooming approached an extraordinary chance for understanding between two worlds threatened by time yet eager for harmony. A fragile bond began forming slowly as Clara realized this encounter might just not be about survival but about nurturing compassion across boundaries neither could fully comprehend just why. As Clara knelt cautiously beside the blanket that cradled the baby, the air shifted with a palpable sense of anticipation. The little one, still blissfully unaware of the significant moment unfolding around it, gazed up with soft, curious eyes that mirrored innocence and wonder. For a second, the forest seemed to hold its breath, a serene pause filled with a magic that only nature could conjure. The baby made a small sound, a coo that floated through the clearing like a sweet note from a forgotten lullaby. It was a sound that drew Clara and her cubs closer, softening their initial apprehension with each gentle gurgle. The child's vulnerability appealed to something deep within Clara's heart. She felt an instinctual urge to protect this tiny being, one that was entirely different from her own yet somehow touched upon shared threads of life. Hazel was the first to break free from her mother's protective shadow. With wide eyes gleaming like polished stones, she took tentative steps forward, drawn by an irresistible curiosity. "Look at it," she whispered in awe, glancing back at Finn and Leo for reassurance. They stood close together, their expressions a mix of delight and uncertainty as they watched their sister. As Hazel approached gradually, the baby's attention turned toward her. A brief moment of panic flickered across Hazel's face when their eyes locked. She realized how large she must appear compared to this delicate creature, yet as soon as the baby smiled, a toothless grin that radiated pure joy, the fear melted away like morning mist under the sun. It waved its tiny arms excitedly as if recognizing in Hazel a kindred spirit. "Hi there," Hazel breathed with awe, her voice barely above a whisper. The enchantment in the air bubbled over, and she felt an inexplicable connection growing stronger with each passing heartbeat. Meanwhile, Finn remained firmly planted beside Clara, his heart racing with both excitement and trepidation. "What if it cries?" he pondered aloud, concern etched on his brow as he watched Hazel inch closer to the mesmerizing little human. The thought of disturbing this fragile moment made him shiver slightly. He could feel his instincts clashing with his fascination. Clara sensed Finn's unrest and gently nudged him forward with her snout, urging him to join his siblings in discovering this new experience. After all, they were learning together about empathy and understanding through this extraordinary encounter. "It's okay," Clara reassured him softly, her voice calming like a gentle breeze rustling through treetops. "Let's take our time." Encouraged by his mother's words, Finn took a few cautious steps forward until he stood shoulder to shoulder with Hazel. Together they watched as Leo's eyes widened even more in amazement. He felt compelled to step closer himself but hesitated behind his siblings. A sudden rustle nearby startled them all. The wind had picked up slightly, and for just a heartbeat, the tranquility was broken by nature's whispers. In that fleeting moment of uncertainty, the baby let out a small whimper, its joy wavered momentarily as it sensed the shift in energy surrounding them. Clara instantly felt alarmed while instinctively moving closer to her cubs protectively. Yet even amid her motherly concerns, she noticed how swiftly Hazel responded to comfort their new friend by softly cooing back at it. "It's okay," Hazel soothed earnestly while reaching out slowly towards the baby. The gesture broke down invisible barriers between them, encouraged by Hazel's gentle approach and Clara's reassuring presence nearby. The baby soon calmed again. It reached out its tiny hand toward Hazel, a bridge spanning between two worlds, and gripped onto her finger with surprising strength for such little hands. In an instant, warmth flooded through Clara's heart as she observed this spontaneous exchange of trust unfolding before her very eyes. The forest felt alive again. Birds resumed their melodies and squirrels scampered about playfully overhead while butterflies danced among wildflowers that swayed gently in rhythm with life itself. Leo stepped forward slowly now too, his initial hesitation faded in light of his siblings' bravery, watching cautiously while he admired how seamless their connection appeared. Despite all differences in size or species, there existed an undeniable magic binding them together amidst uncertainty. Innocence meeting wonder across the expanse of nature. The scene resonated deeply within Clara. It reinforced her belief that perhaps this encounter wasn't merely coincidental but rather an invitation to nurture compassion beyond instinctual boundaries, a lesson written in every fluttering leaf and twinkling star above them waiting to be explored further. What began as strangers and navigating unfamiliar territory transformed into something profound, an unfolding narrative rooted in shared vulnerability, a journey waiting for all souls involved as they navigated this tender connection intertwined between bear family and human child alike. As days passed in that sun-drenched clearing, the mutual curiosity between Clara's bear family and the baby began to blossom into something deeper, a budding trust that transcended their differences. Each encounter was marked by a gentle exploration of boundaries, filled with innocent laughter and cautious gestures that forged a link between them. The baby, now familiar with the gentle giants surrounding it, came to recognize the soft rumbles of Clara's voice and the playful exuberance of her cubs. After their initial meeting, the little one would coo excitedly whenever Clara approached, its tiny hands reaching out as if to invite her closer. Clara responded by lowering her massive head, allowing the baby to touch her warm fur, the sensation bringing blissful giggles from its lips. Hazel and Finn soon became the most eager participants in this delightful exchange. Their earlier fears dissolved entirely, Replaced by a spirited determination to engage with their new friend, they took turns rolling over in front of the baby, pretending to be silly or imitating curious woodland creatures. Finn even attempted to do a clumsy bear dance, which sent ripples of laughter through both his siblings and the baby. One afternoon, as sunlight streamed through the leaves above them like liquid gold, Hazel presented a makeshift game using wildflowers she had gathered. She gently placed them around the baby and then performed a playful pirouette, causing both Finn and Leo to erupt into delighted cheers. The baby clapped its hands in response, eyes sparkling with joy as it watched this spontaneous performance unfold. This interaction ignited a creative spark within Hazel. She began incorporating small sticks into their games, creating simple toys for the baby. One she fashioned into a rattle that produced delightful sounds when shaken. It was exhilarating for her when she noticed how much delight this simple object brought to their new friend. The baby would giggle while shaking it vigorously, adding another layer of connection as they explored this newfound friendship. Clara watched these interactions closely from a distance. A protective yet optimistic smile graced her face as her cubs immersed themselves in play. She could feel an innate sense of warmth growing within her heart, one that reassured her about the unfolding bond between species so often divided by instinctual barriers. As days turned into weeks, those golden moments expanded into sweet rituals formed amidst shared laughter and gentle trust-building exercises. The rhythm of their days evolved into a tapestry woven with adventure. There were afternoons spent chasing butterflies together or laying in sun-dappled patches where they would bask in warmth side by side. The once timid moments gradually transformed into an easy familiarity. Clara would nudge the baby softly with her nose during playtime while Finn nuzzled against its side affectionately. Leo discovered his own special role. He became something akin to a guardian on duty, standing protectively near while observing his siblings' antics with an approving gaze. It wasn't just about joy, there were moments of quiet concern too. One particularly windy day brought uncertainty as rustling leaves stirred up anxiety for all present. The baby let out a whimper at first. Sensing its distress instantly heightened Clara's protective instinct as she promptly shielded it with her massive frame while Hazel curled up beside them for comfort. "Everything is all right," Clara murmured soothingly through low growls meant to ease their friends' worries. The presence of harmony gradually restored itself as they huddled together, eventually drawing strength from one another amidst shifting winds, a moment solidifying trust further through shared vulnerability. Then came another memorable day when Clara introduced some behavior typical among bears. Fishing near the riverbank nearby under watchful eyes. To everyone's surprise, it became an exciting event not just for cubs but also for their human counterpart. The baby's eyes widened at each splash created by Clara's powerful paws as she caught fish swiftly from beneath surface waters, a spectacle so captivating it seemed almost magical. With every playful splash and gleeful squeal from Hazel's lips encouraging excitement around every flicker of movement beneath water's surface came building hope. Hope for future joy intertwined beyond species lines, an unspoken promise held tightly within shared experiences bubbling over each day spent together. As laughter echoed across valleys wrapped in nature's embrace, the connection solidified even more, the bond blossoming deeper than what any could have imagined possible only weeks before. What began as mere curiosity had transformed into unwavering trust born from innocence and wonder interwoven intricately within vibrant tales sung softly across meadows where time ceased to exist. During those timeless moments together, like life's sweetest symphony eternally connecting hearts along winding paths leading them homeward. As the harmony among Clara, her cubs, and the baby flourished, a new chapter of their relationship began to unfold. The days spent together in the sun-drenched clearing had nurtured an unspoken bond that flourished with each shared experience. Yet, as delightful as their time together had been, Clara's instincts as a mother constantly reminded her of the need for protection, both for her own cubs and for this vulnerable human child who had wandered into their lives. One afternoon, while they played beneath the gentle rustle of leaves, Clara sensed a shift in the atmosphere. Dark clouds rolled in above the treetops, casting shadows across the clearing. A distant rumble of thunder echoed through the forest, sending a chill through Clara's heart. She instinctively glanced at her cubs, who were too engrossed in chasing butterflies to notice the brewing storm. "Hazel, Finn, Leo." Clara called out urgently, her voice laced with a protective tone. The cubs paused, sensing their mother's unease as they looked up at her with wide eyes. "We need to head home before the rain comes." Before she could usher them back toward their den, however, she noticed the baby still seated on its blanket, oblivious to the impending weather change. Its cheerful giggles filled the air even as dark clouds loomed overhead, an innocence so profound it tugged at Clara's heartstrings. She felt that urge to protect this little one bubble up within her again. "Wait," she said softly, turning back towards the baby. "You can't stay here alone." As Clara stepped closer to it, she gently nudged it with her nose. The baby looked up at her with trusting eyes, reaching out its tiny hands as if inviting further interaction. In that moment of connection, Clara contemplated an idea that blossomed within her mind like spring flowers breaking through winter frost. What if they could share their home, the warmth of their den, with this innocent child? It would be an act of coexistence, a way to embrace vulnerability together amid nature's unpredictable moods. Clara took a deep breath and looked back at her cubs. "What if we let our new friend come home with us?" she proposed gently. Her voice was calm yet firm. She hoped to convey both excitement and reassurance. The cubs exchanged glances filled with wonder and uncertainty. "But what if humans are dangerous?" Finn questioned hesitantly, his brow furrowing in concern. "They can be," Clara agreed softly but continued resolutely. "But this baby is different. It has shown us trust and friendship. We have all shared laughter and joy together." She gestured to where Hazel was now playfully tossing petals into the air for the baby to catch, a joyous dance that drew giggles from both sides. After a moment's pause filled with contemplation and tender glances exchanged among them, Clara added sincerely, "If we bring it into our den, we can keep it safe until its family finds it or until we know how best to help." Hazel stepped forward now, her innate curiosity shining brighter than ever. "I think we should let it come home," she exclaimed with enthusiasm. "It can stay in our cozy den and play with us." Finn watched his sister's excitement bubble over but still held some doubt within himself. Leo stood beside him nervously but remained quiet as he absorbed everything unfolding before him. Clara sensed their hesitation and offered another layer of affection. She nuzzled each of them gently before looking down at the baby once more. "We are stronger together," she reminded them softly. With renewed determination igniting within their hearts, Clara led them all back toward the blanket where their little friend awaited amid whispers of wind just beginning to pick up speed around them. "Let's do this together," Clara encouraged as they gathered around the baby once more. Finn knelt down beside it while Leo cautiously moved forward too, an embodiment of solidarity joining forces toward a common goal, offering unconditional warmth and safety from whatever storms might come. As they introduced themselves anew to the baby, each taking turns speaking sweet words, the rain began falling lightly around them like nature's gentle embrace. Amidst laughter echoed through drops cascading from leaves overhead. Slowly but surely, they offered kindness wrapped in warmth as they lifted the child delicately into Clara's welcoming arms. In that instant, the child nestled securely against Clara's soft fur, all fears dissipated like mist from dawn's first light. A mutual understanding woven tightly among all present enveloped them now. Both bear family and human infant felt cocooned in love and trust born anew from simple gestures made through vulnerability expressed openly between different beings united under one familial goal, finding shelter not just physically but emotionally within one another's essence. As thunder rumbled in distant horizons announcing nature's presence close by, a reminder that life would always bring uncertainties, they ventured back toward their den together, for souls intertwined by fate navigating through challenges alongside uncharted adventures ahead through shared experiences leading forward united in strength despite their differences. The embodiment of coexistence blooming brightly against life's backdrop painted by nature itself. As Clara prepared to take the baby into the den, onlookers witnessing this emotional scene felt an irresistible wave of compassion wash over them. Creatures from all corners of the forest had gathered, drawn by the tender exchange unfolding between a bear mother and this tiny human. It was a moment that seemed to blur the lines between species, igniting hearts with an overwhelming sense of unity and empathy. Alicia, the wise old deer who had been watching from behind a thicket, felt her heart swell at the sight. The love Clara showed toward the baby mirrored her own experiences in nurturing her fawns years before. She remembered those moments when she faced uncertainty but relied on her instincts to protect her young. Alicia felt a deep connection to Clara's plight. She wanted to support this new family forged through vulnerability and understanding. That baby deserves love and warmth, Alicia whispered under her breath, urging herself to step closer. If only I could offer my help. The thought propelled her into action, and she decided to approach with a gentle presence that might comfort both Clara and the baby. Meanwhile, Marcus the raven, perched high above in a sturdy tree, observed intently as emotions swirled below him like leaves caught in a windstorm. That he had always been skeptical about interactions between different species, but found himself captivated by this one. That the awe-inspiring connection developing before his eyes inspired him to rally others around him. Look! He called out, his voice echoing through the treetops. We must support this bond. This is more than just a bear taking care of a human child, it's something extraordinary. His call resonated among various woodland creatures. Squirrels paused their chatter, rabbits perked up their ears, and even quiet foxes emerged from shadow's underbrush. The ripple effect of Marcus's words resonated deeply throughout the forest community as animals began inching closer together in solidarity. Together they felt compelled to intervene, not out of fear or suspicion but from an earnest desire to witness and encourage this unique union blossoming before them. Timmy the rabbit hopped forward eagerly beside Alicia, embodying youthful exuberance mixed with pure excitement. I can help, he declared brightly, ears bouncing with enthusiasm. Let's cheer for Clara, she should be allowed to welcome that baby into their home. Timmy's innocent proclamation ignited sparks among those listening as many small creatures joined him in soft encouragements, murmuring together, roots of shared aspirations connecting beings across vast differences, bridging lives, intertwining lives rooted within nature itself. The gentle nudges and whispers from fellow animals spurred Clara's heart with warmth as she heard their supportive murmurs echoing through quiet woods around them, filled deep affection growing stronger, unifying then. Witnessing unique heartfelt connections transforming among them everlastingly. That day born anew. Feeling emboldened by their presence offering silent encouragement, Clara took another step forward with her cubs flanking closely beside her side, confidently nestling safely against her. A united family seeking warmth, adding strength amplified by bond and now fostered among many other creatures beginning stepping forth alongside, announcing proudly shared goals, encouraging peaceful coexistence, channeling steady resolve, caring nurturing hearts rippled naturally, creating vibrant tapestry, alive honesty. Woven across boundaries, folded gently, embracing something great here, weaving ranging hope, gently touching souls gathered beneath umbrella, protectively guarding choices made, growing abundantly, expanding beautifully, togetherness transforming dreams towards futures, vivid sparkling blossoming possibilities, stretched infinitely, welcoming moments could stretch endlessly, becoming enshrined precious memories upon forevers, embraced safely, finding shelter, taking place, repeating over again, inviting life. Fueled harmony, truths rendering dreams steadily summoned, confirming promises woven dependently throughout, linking dreams intertwined gracefully, urging passion erupt, springing organically, endlessly surrounded by nurturing, all expanded, ever aflame, awaited kindred spirits roaming, energizing one another endlessly, fully alive, reborn, sparkling, returned, flourishing, wrapped beneath ledges rest. Spoken freely, enlightening poise, compelling network outreach over time, commanding intricate bonds, underscoring essential symbiotic living, never forgotten, weaving yet unknown bright horizons, opened countless invitations, inspiring trust, reaching, shaping eternal aspirations, held fast gentle natures, cradling sweetened connections, unborn passions, gaining strength, energized, delivered welcome growth, wrapping around family work, tirelessly weaving narratives, forever embracing visions, drifting delight, quietly made hopeful years really came forth, embraced vastly anew cycles, endless rebirths, catering tender mirage, golden eons, endowed, connected epiphanies, vibrancy, eager, reminding brave stories lived beyond, timeless fabric, rich, illuminating fresh possibilities, extending, inviting, love breathed, celebrating connectedness, coursing freely like breezes, blowing warmly onward, treasured futures, inviting every moment where peace dwelt, reigned delicate feasts, airy light developments, available threads rising, pinning, searching openings, revealing heights, radiating, emboldened, awaiting pathways, glowing, enfolding. Guidance entwined, kin entertained, long luminously reaching back, blazing streaks radiantly etched everywhere, loving cascades, guiding heights, woven wondrous lights, shimmering magnificent flowerings, exploring intertwined echoes, illuminating desires, reaching yearning depths, awakening once lost beautiful memories, now glittering jubilantly, awaiting cherished souls, familiar kindred reflections, grounded, dreaming brightly, illuminating paths, Forever youthful folding embracing past-held ties joining. Wandering travelers reconvened blossomed tenderly camaraderie beckoning gathering enjoyments soared standing resilience brightening symphony resting nestled wild keepers heartwarming places loving chronicles flourishing myriad tales pulsing weaving stories forging wanderings anthem jeweled destinations newly arrived bright memories unlocked spaces nestled lovingly shared alive lovingly sought always returning embraced, forever encircled nurtured alive ethereal magic vibrant resplendent calling. Gathering onward rapturous hearts humbly finding shelter for everlasting newcomers securing carrying keeping truths homeward welcoming all faithfully intertwining rebounding together weaving limitless adventures unfolding in rich immediate cultures solidounding quest creating legacies richly curative embodied joyful future destinies redefining hearts always seeking stories remained alive only beginning united. We return shaping along warm paths beckoning embrace awaiting you destined bloom wildly. Timeless journeys newfound cherished legacies igniting wondrous love blooming everywhere newly gifted living dreams awakened nurturing magnificent reunions together summoning grandeur life expanded cherishing utterly exalting depths evoked transparency flourishing widely nurturing everywhere witnessed once sharing humanity boundlessly forever discovered welcomed gathering luminous hopes dreaming sharing courage, demanding daringly upheld openly sought, as the story of Clara the bear and the human baby unfolded, it quickly transcended the forest boundaries, reaching the nearby towns, local residents, hearing about the extraordinary bond forming between species, felt compelled to respond with empathy and action. This was not just a heartwarming tale, it had become a community endeavor, uniting people in a shared purpose. Families began flocking to the edge of the forest, drawn by curiosity and an innate desire to witness this unique connection firsthand. Mothers brought their children, who were wide-eyed with wonder at the thought of a bear caring for a human infant. They gathered to share stories among themselves, recounting tales of wildlife encounters that had left a lasting impression on their hearts. The air was thick with anticipation as they discussed ways to support both Clara and her new charge. One particularly enthusiastic resident was Sarah, a local teacher with a passion for wildlife conservation. Inspired by Clara's protective nature, she organized a small gathering in town to raise awareness about the importance of respecting wildlife habitats and encouraging coexistence. This is our chance to show compassion and support for both Clara and this baby, she proclaimed during a meeting at the community center. Let's come together as a community to ensure both are safe. Sarah's energy was infectious, and soon other residents joined her cause. A local artist offered to create posters depicting the bond between Clara and the baby, aiming to raise awareness about wildlife conservation. A group of children volunteered their time to help distribute pamphlets detailing how humans could coexist peacefully with nature while respecting animal territories. The warmth of collective effort wrapped around them like a cozy blanket as neighbors found strength in unity. As excitement buzzed through town, wildlife officials also took notice, understanding that this situation required careful handling. They reached out to assess what needed to be done for both Clara and the baby's well-being. A team comprising wildlife biologists and conservationists arrived at the forest's edge armed with knowledge and resources. On one sunny afternoon, wildlife officials set up an information booth near where Clara had made her den. They spoke with attendees about bear behavior and emphasized safety while respecting animals in their natural environments. Parents listened attentively as experts discussed how important it was for communities living near wilderness areas to learn about interactions between humans and wildlife. This is an incredible opportunity, said Dr. Elena Jones, one of the biologists leading the initiative. We can educate families on how they can help protect wildlife while fostering understanding about these amazing creatures. Her enthusiasm resonated deeply. Parents nodded in agreement as they recognized how vital it was for future generations to appreciate and respect nature. Realizing it wasn't enough just to observe from afar, townsfolk rallied together with heartfelt determination. They began coordinating efforts not only for Clara but also for ensuring that if authorities needed assistance in safely relocating or reuniting the child with its family when appropriate, they would be ready. A local bakery even joined in on this community response by baking cookies shaped like bears and babies, delicious treats sold during fundraising events held throughout town aimed at supporting local wildlife initiatives inspired by Clara's story. As children devoured cookies decorated with frosting smiles reminiscent of their beloved bears under shimmering afternoon sun, a celebration symbolizing newfound hope enveloped everyone present. An air of camaraderie flourished among residents who now felt part of something much larger than themselves. Meanwhile, back in their cozy den amidst gentle rustling leaves surrounding them, Clara felt uplifted knowing support extended beyond mere observation. There existed an entire community surrounding her family dedicated towards nurturing lives filled abundantly, embracing love, united freely, bridging gaps, discovering depths not merely once feared but cherished, deeply connecting journeys shared, turning moments into forever intertwined destinies, inviting joys unfolding, continuously brightening horizons, radiating throughout nature's embrace, cultivating deeper relationships, transcending boundaries, resonating warmth, echoing harmoniously across varied landscapes, carrying forth legacies, cultivating understanding, blossoming generously, inspiring bonds, expanding endlessly, illuminating futures renewed, holding cherished dreams alive. As news spread further afield, the message grew stronger, echoing around townships, surrounding hearts, igniting beliefs, blooming beautifully. Promising adventures ushered forward, extending outreach, ensuring safety, hopes harmonizing visions, diving deeper, encouraging all involved, embracing sentiments born anew, nurturing kindness illuminated effervescently, weaving threads, forging brighter worlds ahead. As the storm clouds loomed overhead, Clara felt an overwhelming urgency to ensure the baby's safety. Guided by her instinct and the support of the gathering community, she turned to her cubs, who were now eagerly watching the baby with a mix of curiosity and concern. The emotional weight of this moment hung heavily in the air, and Clara realized that the decision they faced was not just about shelter but about nurturing a bond that transcended species. In the midst of swirling emotions, Clara leaned down toward her cubs. "We must protect our new friend," she said softly, her voice steady yet filled with warmth. "If we bring the baby into our den, we can keep it safe until its family is found." Hazel's eyes sparkled with understanding as she nodded. "It can be part of our family, right?" she asked, glancing at Finn and Leo, who stood beside her. Finn's initial hesitation melted away as he took in their mother's earnest tone. "But what if it gets scared?" he pondered aloud, reflecting his protective instincts even toward the tiny human they had just met. Clara smiled gently, her heart swelling with pride for her cubs. "We will show it love and comfort, just as we do for each other. We are all learning together, and this baby deserves our kindness." Leo, ever the cautious one, looked back at the gathering crowd of animals and neighbors who had come to witness this extraordinary moment. "What will everyone think?" he asked quietly. "The creatures and people around us already see how special this bond is," Clara reassured him. "They understand that we are all connected in this world." The air buzzed with anticipation as animals from the forest and townsfolk watched closely, feeling that they were witnessing something unique unfold. Alicia the deer stepped forward to join them, her gentle presence lending support to Clara's decision. "You are doing a wonderful thing," she said softly. "This moment reflects the beauty of compassion shared among all living beings." As Clara turned back toward the baby nestled on the blanket, she noticed its trusting gaze fixed upon her. As if sensing the warmth radiating from her spirit, the baby cooed softly, reaching out tiny hands toward her, an invitation for connection that echoed Clara's own maternal instincts. With her cubs by her side, Clara took a deep breath and gently scooped up the baby in her powerful yet tender embrace. The sensation of holding this fragile human child felt surreal yet natural. She could feel its heartbeat against her fur, a rhythm echoing their shared vulnerability. At that moment, cheers erupted from the gathered crowd. Both animals and humans alike joined in a chorus of support for Clara's heartfelt decision. The emotion was palpable. It transcended words as laughter mingled with tears, creating an atmosphere thick with hope and unity. Timmy the rabbit hopped excitedly among his fellow woodland creatures. "We should celebrate," he exclaimed, his enthusiasm infectious. "This is a new beginning." The townsfolk responded enthusiastically, suggesting ways to commemorate this unique alliance. Some offered to organize a small gathering near the edge of the forest once the storm passed, an event dedicated not only to celebrating Clara and the baby but also raising awareness about coexistence with wildlife. As Clara carried the baby into the den where her cubs had already settled down comfortably, She felt a wave of relief wash over her. She nestled the baby close to her side, ensuring it was warm and safe. Her cubs curled up nearby, their playful spirits rekindled by excitement and curiosity about their new companion. Outside, Alicia stood among the residents watching as Clara enveloped the child in nurturing warmth. She felt a sense of hope for what lay ahead, a powerful reminder that love knows no boundaries and can flourish in unexpected places. With rain beginning to fall softly around them, gentle drumming on leaves above, a profound tranquility settled over the forest community. The decision to welcome the baby into their lives had transformed not only their individual stories but also forged an unbreakable bond among all present. As hearts swelled with shared compassion and understanding on all sides, animals supporting one another alongside humans eager to nurture friendships, the stage was set for a beautiful journey ahead. One filled with laughter echoing through trees where life intertwined seamlessly, blossoming harmoniously, flourishing forever amidst vibrant connections forged tightly around dreams, nourishing goodness, invigorating life together, creating legacies alive. As Clara settled the baby into their den, a delightful whirlwind of energy erupted around them. The intimate space, lined with soft moss and leaves, transformed from a simple shelter into a lively setting filled with laughter and playful chaos. The warm embrace of the den was a cocoon of safety that invited joy and camaraderie among its new inhabitants. Hazel was the first to make the baby giggle. She gently bobbed her head up and down, her thick fur bouncing playfully. "Look at me, I'm a funny bear," she declared, crossing her eyes in the silliest manner, which elicited a burst of delighted laughter from the baby. The sound echoed within the den, creating a symphony of innocent joy, a sound that warmed Clara's heart and reassured her that they had made the right choice. Encouraged by the baby's reaction, Finn quickly joined in. He decided to put on an impromptu dance performance, showcasing his best bear moves, which consisted mostly of clumsy twirls and excited hops. "I am Finn the dancing bear," he proclaimed dramatically, adding an exaggerated spin that sent him tumbling gently against the soft bedding. The baby's laughter intensified, ringing out like beautiful music in the cozy den. Leo, always looking to bring a sense of adventure, clamored over to join his siblings. "Wait, we need a game," he declared, eyes sparkling with mischief. "Let's play hide and seek. I'll hide, and you have to find me." Without waiting for a response, Leo ducked behind a pile of leaves and giggled at his own cleverness. "Not yet," shouted Hazel amid her laughter as she pointed towards the baby. "We can't leave our new friend out." Clara watched as her cubs rallied together, determination etched in their faces to include the little one who had brought such light into their lives. "Okay, you stay right here," Hazel instructed the baby, who was seated comfortably within Clara's protective circle. "We're going to hide, and then you can help us find Leo." With a shared sense of purpose, Hazel and Finn moved stealthily around the corners of the den, careful to remain silent as they prepared for their big reveal. Clara could barely contain her amusement as she witnessed her cubs bouncing on their paws while exchanging secret glances. After a moment, Clara leaned closer to the baby. "Ready? They're going to try to hide," she said softly. The baby's eyes widened with excitement as it cooed in response, clapping its hands together in anticipation. Suddenly, the den erupted with giggles and playful whispers as Hazel and Finn emerged from their hiding spots, each making a grand show of their discoveries. "Found you, Leo," they cried in unison when they spotted him peeking out from behind the leaves. In that instant, the baby's delighted squeal sent ripples of warmth through the air. It reached out its tiny hands toward Leo as if wanting to join in the fun. The moment tugged at Clara's heartstrings. Here was this tiny human flourishing within a family of bears that had welcomed it without hesitation. As the game continued, moments turned chaotic yet endearing. The bear cubs engaged the baby by rolling soft leaves back and forth as if they were tossing toys among themselves. The baby squealed each time it caught a leaf, its excitement infectious. Even Clara couldn't help but chuckle at how easily joy spread among them. Clara marveled at how natural this all felt, the bond between species deepening with every laugh shared, every game played. "Look how happy they are," she thought. The chaos enveloping them transformed into magic. Filled with laughter floated gently through the den, reaching outside toward the wider world where families had come together in support, where empathy flourished against adversity. The den became a hub of riotous laughter, an arena where fierce loyalty blossomed amid playful antics, reflecting mutual trust forming amidst innocent playfulness. As time passed, Clara grew more and more aware that this bond wasn't merely for survival. It blossomed into something beautiful that transcended all boundaries laid before them. As dusk began to settle over the forest, casting gentle shadows through the den entrance, Clara felt her heart swell with pride, knowing they had created a sanctuary not just for themselves but an entirely new family forged through compassion shared freely among all. Their collective laughter spun around them like threads weaving deeper connections, naturally binding life experiences cherished forever. Alive, and now, Clara declared with a warm smile, it's time for some rest after all that fun. The cubs nestled closely together along with their new friend, wrapping themselves protectively around it as exhaustion overtook their playful spirits. In those peaceful moments beneath starlit skies overhead shining softly through gaps above foliage paired tightly woven together close-knit bonds embracing love cradled around them, it felt clear. Life thrived dynamically upon honest relationships forged beyond mere existence, inspiring hope, unveiling futures bound ever brighter, illuminating harmonious paths carved intricately alive, welcoming adventurous journeys ahead, entwining beauty resonating throughout forever. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue through the leaves of the ancient oak that sheltered their den, Clara reflected on the extraordinary journey that had unfolded before her. The once quiet life she shared with her cubs had transformed into a vibrant tapestry woven from unexpected threads of friendship and unity. Each moment spent with the baby had revealed profound truths about compassion, connection, and love that transcended the boundaries of species. Clara watched her cubs snuggled up close to the baby, their hearts entwined in a bond that defied conventional understanding. Hazel's head rested gently on the baby's lap as she drifted into a peaceful sleep, while Finn and Leo curled around them protectively. This scene was a testament to the power of nurturing relationships that flourished even in the most unlikely circumstances, a reminder that love knows no bounds. The day had been filled with laughter and joy, but as Clara's heart swelled with warmth, it also held a deep sense of responsibility. We are all guardians of this connection, she thought, feeling grateful for the community that had rallied around them. Their support extended beyond mere observation. It was an affirmation of shared values, the desire to protect life in all its forms. Alicia's wise words echoed in Clara's mind. This moment reflects the beauty of compassion shared among all living beings. It was a truth Clara now understood deeply. The interactions between her family and the baby had illuminated paths rarely traveled, forging connections that bridged gaps once thought insurmountable. In those moments inside the den, chaos had blossomed into magic. Each playful encounter transformed not only their lives but also the lives of those who witnessed their story unfold. It became apparent that nature had a way of bringing together different beings for a common purpose, a beautiful reminder that every creature has something valuable to offer. As night fell, Clara turned her gaze toward the entrance of the den where gentle raindrops began to fall softly against leaves above. The soothing sound reminded her of how nature often provided shelter during storms, both literal and metaphorical. Their experience resonated much like this rain, nurturing yet powerful, fostering growth while encouraging reflection. In this embrace of tranquility, Clara felt an overwhelming gratitude for all those who had supported them along this journey, the townsfolk who rallied in solidarity, wildlife officials who prioritized well-being, and every creature in the forest who shared in their joy. Their hearts were united under one cause, coexistence, nurturing bonds across species lines. With every heartbeat echoing through her den, Clara understood that they were part of something greater than themselves, a movement toward embracing diversity while celebrating life itself. Each moment spent nurturing this little human child had sown seeds for future generations where harmony could thrive instead of fear. Looking down at her slumbering cubs entwined with their new friend, Clara marveled at how quickly they had adapted. They had embraced this unexpected addition wholeheartedly without hesitation or judgment. In doing so, they demonstrated what it meant to live compassionately, to accept others not just for who they are but for what they could become together. As time passed within this sacred space, filled with warmth and love, Clara knew this chapter would resonate beyond mere memory. It would leave lasting imprints on every soul touched by their story. The gentle snoring sounds from her cubs mingled harmoniously with soft rustling leaves outside, mingled alongside sounds reverberating within. A symphony composed uniquely amid playful interactions, lighting up lives intertwined forevermore, reflecting pride, glowing vibrancy emanating softly across starlit skies, whispering promises filled. Brightly alive, in those precious moments nestled together within their den beneath nature's watchful gaze, one could feel hope renewed as life thrived dynamically upon bonds created despite differences, flourishing ever so beautifully intertwined. Love blossomed free amidst strange encounters, a nurturing unity igniting dreams brighter, inviting futures filled jubilant possibilities, awakening joys encapsulated forever, where kindness embraced its rightful place across shimmering landscapes, connecting souls alive. As Clara settled into the tranquil atmosphere of their den, a wave of gratitude washed over her, mingling with a sense of profound reflection. The experience of welcoming the baby had become more than just an incident, it had woven itself into a vital lesson about empathy, acceptance, and the bonds that tie all beings together in this vast tapestry of life. Looking around at her sleeping cubs and the peaceful baby nestled among them, Clara contemplated the lessons learned throughout this extraordinary journey. The initial trepidation they had all felt transformed into a blossoming relationship filled with laughter, love, and an unbreakable connection. This was not just a bare family taking in a human child, it was an illustration of how compassion could transcend the boundaries typically set by nature. In a world often divided by differences, whether they be species, beliefs, or backgrounds, Clara understood that there lay immense power in such unexpected friendships. Their journey taught her that when individuals approach one another with open hearts and minds, they can forge connections that lead to understanding rather than fear. Love knows no boundaries, she mused quietly to herself, feeling the warmth radiating from her cubs as they curled protectively around their new companion. The community's response amplified this message beautifully, the townsfolk and forest creatures united in purpose, demonstrating that support extends beyond mere observation. It was a reminder that every living being has something valuable to contribute to the world. When they work together toward a common goal of compassion and protection, significant change is possible. Alicia's voice echoed back to Clara, the words about the beauty of shared moments among all living beings resonated deeply within her. The love Clara had shown toward the baby mirrored the compassion expressed by those around them, reinforcing the notion that care is universal. It did not matter whether one walked on 2 legs or 4. What mattered was the intention to nurture and protect life. As she gazed at the unity blossoming within her den and the surrounding community, Clara realized their story extended far beyond themselves. It was a testament to resilience. Every creature, regardless of size or form, could face adversity together when driven by empathy and understanding. The lessons learned brought forth hope, a promise that kindness could overcome division and cultivate harmony within diverse settings. The gentle patter of rain outside provided a soothing backdrop to Clara's thoughts. Just as rain nourishes the earth, their shared experiences nourished their souls, reminding them all that growth often comes from unexpected circumstances. Watching her cubs interact joyfully with the baby after its arrival laid bare a truth: vulnerability binds individuals together in ways that strength alone cannot. As dawn approached and golden light began to filter through the canopy above, Clara felt renewed purpose flooding her heart. Their lives would forever be intertwined. They would advocate for understanding and acceptance not only for themselves but for every being occupying this vast forest of wonders. This encounter had sparked something deep within her, a commitment to foster unity wherever possible. In the days that followed, Clara envisioned creating opportunities for interaction not just within their den but also among the broader community. Perhaps wildlife education programs could emerge from this experience, bridging gaps between humans and animals alike while enriching lives through shared stories and experiences that honor coexistence. The path ahead held endless possibilities. Clara felt inspired not only to protect her family but also to shine a light on the importance of caring for each other, showing respect for all forms of life inhabiting their world. Nature held profound lessons waiting to be discovered for generations yet unborn, a legacy rooted in love binding their journeys entwined. In conclusion, Clara knew this chapter had forever changed them. It symbolized the potential for transformation driven by compassion and acceptance. As she drifted into a peaceful slumber alongside her cubs and their new friend, she dreamed of a world where barriers fell away, leaving only vibrant connections alive. and hearts intertwined endlessly celebrating love in its purest form.